Hi, Jonathan York, Bay Financial Partners, looking at investment markets. Pretty interesting week, really. President Trump has shown a clear indication that the US, will be strong in terms of sort of foreign policy. You saw the coordinated and strategic attack on Syria after the gas attack. You've then also seen a further attack on the ISIS forces in Afghanistan. Again, sort of very specific, very targeted, and it's just going to be interesting, really, to see how this sort of transpires now over the next sort of 3 to 6 months. But certainly, it does send a pretty clear message. And obviously, the main sort of recipient for that message is probably going to be North Korea. Obviously, a lot of bravado coming through from there. And it's just a question now of, hopefully the US and China can manage to sort of talk the North Koreans down from the bravado that's sort of taking place at present. In terms of earnings in the US, maybe a little bit disappointing. Goldman's reported a surprise fall in bond trading, which saw their earnings a little bit shy of sort of estimates. That did come as a little bit of a surprise. Most analysts were expecting that the major Wall Street banks, given the conditions in the first quarter, would see some pretty reasonable growth on their earnings, and especially in their sort of bond trading and equity trading. So it's just going to be interesting to see how that sort of transpires now with the rest of the reporting season over the next sort of week or so. Oil has obviously traded up on the back of the geopolitical pressures. You've got Brent trading around $55, WTI around 52. And again, it's just going to be interesting now to see how that sort of transpires over the next sort of 3 to 6 months. Certainly Northern Hemisphere, obviously, going into their sort of summer, but in the US, that's a big driving season. So it'd just be interesting to see how this sort of transpires in relation to prices. Some pretty interesting data coming out of China. GDP growth was sort of quite a bit stronger than anticipated, around 6.9. That's comfortably above the sort of 6.5 target set by the authorities. But also as well, if you break down the numbers as well in terms of industrial production, price increases, etc., house prices as well, they're all showing some pretty reasonable gains, and certainly surprising on the upside, which maybe just points to the fact that China is sort of maybe finding a little bit of equilibrium. Obviously, the big news has been Prime Minister May calling a surprise election in the UK, having triggered Article 50, now really just trying to shore up her support. Initial indication in the polls, showing a pretty big jump. Seen a big increase in sterling as well, but it's just going to be interesting to see how that sort of transpires over the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks as we build up to the election. Obviously, before then, we're going to see the election in France. That race is really becoming pretty tight now. You've got the 4 main contenders going into the first round. 2 will survive and go into the second round. 1 is expected to be Marine Le Pen from the sort of far right. This is going to be interesting to see who challenges her. Most analysts expect that Le Pen has got a sort of core support around sort of 30%, but would find it hard to build on that sort of base sort of going forward. And it'd just be interesting to see one who gets to challenge her in the second round, and then obviously the outcome of that second round vote. Here in New Zealand, after the pretty extreme weather conditions over the last sort of couple of weeks, it's going to be very interesting to see what impact that has on the inflationary pressures in the economy. Certainly food will be under a little bit of pressure, quite a bit of pressure obviously on dairy, but also on the sort of fruit and veg as well. Sort of staples that everyone has to consume. It's just going to be interesting to see how that sort of transpires. And obviously the Reserve Bank coming out and said that they don't really expect any increase in rates till sort of the back end of 2018. You've got inflationary pressures coming through. Just going to be interesting to see how that sort of plays through. So as well, coming up towards sort of year end for KiwiSaver, just going to be interesting to make sure you've got enough contributions there to get the maximum tax credit. If you're unsure on what those numbers are, give us a call on 0800 867 323 or go to the website www.bayfinancialpartners.co.nz for lots of interesting articles. We look forward to speaking to you soon.